The king is dead. Long live the king. French people, as part of tradition, greeted the heir to the throne with these words. When the words sounded in honor of Louis XIV, the young Dauphin was hardly 5 years old. Court nobility called him the Sun King, and historians the embodiment of the absolute idea of monarchy. He ruled France for 72 years, which the ancestors called the Great Century. It was the century of the Baroque style, where the external magnificence and luxury of the royal court hid in the crudity, libertinism, and perfidy of its inhabitants. Louis was a late child. He was born when his parents had already lost the hope to have an heir to the throne. And in 5 years, he ascended the French throne after his father's death. His mother, Anne of Austria, became his regent, but actually the country was ruled by the prime minister, Cardinal Mazarin. His young years coincided with the Fronde revolt in the country, so the royal family had to escape from Paris, running away from the rebels. The Fronde had an impact on the character of the young king. He wanted to grow up faster and take power in his hands. His dream came true when Cardinal Mazarin died. The 22-year-old Louis held the state council and announced to the astonishment of the ministers that from then onwards, he himself would make all the state decisions. The absolute monarchy was established in France. Having appointed the people he trusted to the governmental positions, the king, whom the court nobility called a thoughtless rake, plunged into affairs of the state. During the first decade of Louis XIV's reign, the economic situation in France changed for the better, thanks to the dexterity of the Minister of Finance, Colbert. But all the money saved by Colbert was spent on court maintenance, presents to a large number of favorites, and endless wars. Louis decided that the main duty of the king was not only to protect his country, but also to expand its boundaries. He managed to conquer parts of the territories that belonged to Spain and Austria. But in course of time, the situation changed. France not only lost its conquered territories, but the wars also hit the treasury adversely. The king, who did not like Paris, shifted to Versailles, where he built a luxurious palace surrounded with gardens and parks. The life of Versailles was full of entertainments, balls, hunting, carnivals, theater performances. Louis's court became the center of life for the fashionable nobility from all over Europe. All European courts copied the French fashion and manners. Aristocrats strived to be appointed to the court. In 1680, the number of court people and guests in Versailles numbered approximately 3,000. Louis, who paid great attention to conventionalities, introduced a complicated etiquette, which was obligatory for all court people. It took 5 people and 4 courtesies, even to give a glass of water to the king. Louis was known as a patron of arts and science. He founded new academies of arts, sculpture, architecture, and music. He granted governmental pensions to authors, but he insisted on the fact that the authors glorify the Sun King. The court of Louis had loose morals. It seemed that the aim of the court nobility was to outdo each other in the number of love affairs. But even here, the Sun King did not have any competitors. In his young days, he obeyed his mother's will. He parted with his beloved Maria Mancini and married Isabella of Spain. But his marriage did not prevent him from seducing the court beauties. The king's daughter-in-law, Elizabeth Charlotte of Pfalz, wrote, "They were all good for him if only they were women, peasants, daughters of the gardeners, chambermaids, noble madams, if they showed that they were in love with him." But according to Voltaire, only the young maid of honor, Louis de la Vallière, loved Louis the man, not Louis the king. the king left her for the passionate beauty Marquis de Montespan. Going by rumors, the maid of honor was connected with the Satan's admirers. She repeatedly used poison to do away with her competitors. And in the evening of life, when Louis was no longer interested in love adventures, he fell in love with Madame de Maintenon, a very devout, clever, and educated person whom the king secretly married. Under her influence, the king became religious, left all the past libertinism, and even stopped visiting the theater. In August 1715, the doctors found signs of gangrene, an incurable disease. His days were numbered. On August 27th, Louis gave his last orders, and on September 1st, the eyes of the great Sun King closed forever. He stated more than once that to be a king is a great, noble, and marvelous affair. But the brilliance and luxury of his reign brought oppression and poverty for the people of France. The Sun King shone only for the chosen.